In 2021, I started a YouTube channel called Afghan Cooks because I'm Miriam, the Afghan who cooks. And I did that because I was Googling Afghanistan and I wanted to find things about Afghan culture, cuisine, history, the people, the land, the geography, all of these things that Afghanistan is to me, and I could not. The only thing I could find out about was war, oppression, starvation, trauma. I really didn't think that that was fair, nor did it give an accurate portrayal of who we are as Afghans. So I started this channel hoping to share the stories of my homeland, the food, the culture with the world. And it became kind of a success, not just on YouTube, but across all social media platforms. And now I think it's time. It's time to venture into a cookbook. Why is the cookbook called Arman? Arman is a beautiful word, and it means longing and yearning. And so many of us who are so far from home long for home, and we get that sense of connection to our motherland through its food. I've been thinking for quite a while now that while there are some really good Afghan recipe cookbooks out there, there's nothing new or innovative or nothing that actually teaches people who are not familiar with Afghan food how to create these amazing recipes. I came to the United States when I was a year and a half old. It was the early 70s, long before kebab shops and halal grocery stores. My mother was a young bride and showed up in the US not really knowing how to cook, but having to feed a child who was pretty picky, I'll say, and a husband. Everyone was away from home for the very first time. And my mom really tried to recreate the flavors of Afghanistan with whatever she had at hand. And I'm not saying my mom was a bad cook, because if you're watching this, Mom, you know I think you're awesome. Your barnjarn is to die for. But we didn't really have a variety of Afghan food that we would eat. And one day, I was perusing an Afghan cookbook that everyone knows about, and I was so amazed at how many dishes I had never heard of, I had never eaten, and my mind was blown. And it turns out that there are a lot of things out there that I didn't know about. So what I started to do was discover my own voice, my own identity as a person who had never really been home, never lived in my motherland, the place where I was born. I started to discover that through learning about our food, the cuisine of Afghanistan. And in learning about what was authentic, what was traditional, how people cook their food back home, I also discovered that a lot of what we think is authenticity, and this goes all across cultures and cuisine, is actually an evolution of people migrating, traveling, learning about new techniques, and incorporating new ingredients. And that's what I've done as well. And I spend quite a bit of my time making new variations on old Afghan food. So in this cookbook, what I would love to do is show you how to recreate some of those flavors you may have tasted at your local kebab shop or at a friend's house, or you just watched an amazing video on Afghan food. But I also want you to know that culture doesn't die, it doesn't have a cutoff date of when it continues to grow and evolve. Fortunately for the world, but unfortunately for Afghanistan, we are still being flung all across the world. And what that means is that our food continues to grow and change. And so in this cookbook, what I aim to do is bring you authentic flavors, traditional recipes, and also some new stuff, some innovative stuff, some things that no one's ever seen before. We'd love it if you could join us on this journey back to our homeland and to see it for more than just war, and to contribute to this Kickstarter so that we can bring Afghan food to your kitchen table.